You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Happy Friday, everyone. You know, when we sit down for these Tech Tuesday editions of The Vocal Technologist, it's usually, well, it's iterative updates. A phone gets a bit faster, a social media app copies another app's feature. You know the drill. It's all incremental. But looking at the stack of stories we have for this week, the vibe is completely different.
It really is. It feels less like we're reading an update log and more like we're watching the tectonic plates of the entire industry shift in real time.
Exactly. We're not just talking about companies buying companies today. We're looking at what I can only call Titan-level consolidation.
Right.
These corporate structures are starting to look less like businesses and, I don't know, more like nation states. Yeah. And running underneath it all is this theme that AI has officially hit its adolescence.
That is the perfect metaphor for it. And like any adolescence, it's messy, it's growing way faster than its parents ever expected, and frankly, it's starting to break all the rules.
So here's the mission for the day. We need to untangle this very expensive, very confusing love triangle between Amazon, OpenAI, and Anthropic. Okay? We need to look at a rumor involving Elon Musk that could effectively merge energy, space, and intelligence into one massive entity. And then we're going to look at the physical world, from robots that dance in squads to a medical breakthrough where a human lived for 2 days without lungs.
Which, just to be clear, right up front, usually falls under the category of physically impossible.
Usually. But apparently the definition of impossible is getting a bit of an update. Let's start with the money, though, because the IPO window, the initial public offering market, it's been shut tight for a while. But it looks like it's about to burst open.
It is. And the headliner, the one everyone is whispering about, is OpenAI. The word from Wall Street is that they're actively having, informal talks for a Q4 2026 IPO.
Okay, so we're looking at late this year for them to go public.
Right. But the context here is everything. They're not operating in a vacuum. You've got Anthropic, their main rival, and SpaceX, all eyeing that exact same exit window.
It's a race.
It's a race to see who can capture the public market's wallet first. But honestly, the IPO isn't even the weirdest part of the OpenAI story this week.
No, the weird part is who's trying to give them money. We're getting these reports that Amazon, led by Andy Jassy, is negotiating a massive investment in OpenAI. We're talking up to $50 billion.
It's just a staggering number. 50 billion is, that's the GDP of some small countries.
But help me understand the logic here, because Amazon is already married to the other guy, right?
That is the paradox. Amazon is Anthropic's primary backer. They have already poured $8 billion into Anthropic.
$8 billion.
They're building an $11 billion data center campus specifically for Anthropic's use. Amazon is their cloud provider, and yet here they are trying to hand $50 billion to Anthropic's biggest competitor.
It feels like betting on the Yankees and the Red Sox at the same time. Is this just hedging? Or is something deeper going on?
It looks like hedging, but you have to look at the valuations to really understand the strategy. Yeah. OpenAI is looking for a valuation of nearly $830 billion.
Wow.
If Amazon puts in $50 billion, they're not buying control. They're buying access.
Access to what? Just the technology?
The user base. And the standard, look at the traffic data we got for January. This is the other side of the coin that explains Amazon's panic.
Okay.
For the first time, we saw a crack in the armor. ChatGPT's worldwide traffic actually declined in January.
Really? I feel like ChatGPT has become the Kleenex of AI. Everyone just uses it by default.
They do, but look who surged while ChatGPT dipped. Google's Gemini.
Interesting. So Google is finally fighting back.
Google's been playing the long game. They've slowly, and you could say painfully, integrated Gemini into Workspace, into Android, into everything you use daily. Yeah. That ecosystem distribution is finally starting to erode OpenAI's lead. So if you're Amazon and you see Google catching up, you realize you can't just rely on Anthropic to win. You need a stake in the front runner too, just in case.
So it's less about loyalty and more about not getting locked out.
Precisely. And it isn't just the giants playing this game. Even Yahoo is back.
I saw this. Yahoo Scout. To be honest, I haven't thought about Yahoo in a decade.
Well, they're back. It's an answer engine, think Perplexity or Google search, but it's powered by Anthropic's Claude.
Wait, so Yahoo's using Claude. Amazon is funding Anthropic, but also trying to fund OpenAI. It feels like the lines between all these companies are just dissolving.
That's the consolidation we're talking about. In 2026, you don't really have distinct tech companies anymore. You have these massive alliances of compute, capital, and models. Everyone is in bed with everyone else because nobody can afford to be left alone.
Speaking of massive alliances,
Yeah?
let's talk about Elon Musk. Because if the Amazon situation is a love triangle, the rumors coming out of the Musk camp are like a galaxy brain strategy game.
This is the consolidation theory that's been making the rounds.
Right. There's a report that SpaceX might not IPO by itself. There's talk of a massive merger involving SpaceX, Tesla, and xAI.
And from a financial gravity standpoint, this actually makes a lot of sense. Investors believe that if you combine these entities, you create a vehicle that can absorb massive amounts of sovereign wealth money.
Specifically from the Middle East.
Exactly. They are effectively creating a Musk index fund.
Yeah.
And operationally, look at the connections. They are already intertwined. Tesla has invested $2 billion in xAI. SpaceX has invested $2 billion in xAI.
The money is already flowing in a triangle.
It is. Merging them just formalizes the reality. It's one giant ecosystem.
But for Tesla specifically, this feels like a pivot, or maybe an admission, because the news out of Tesla this week is drastic. They're ending production of the Model S and the Model X.
The cars that put them on the map.
Gone. And no new mass market models planned.
And if you listen to their last earnings call, the message was explicit. They basically said, we are not a car company.
They're a transportation as a service company now.
That's how they're positioning it. They're going all in on robotaxis, on the Optimus robots, and all the compute infrastructure to run them.
That's a huge risk. They're trading hardware sales for subscriptions.
Exactly. Look at the pricing change. Full self-driving, FSD, is moving to a $99 a month subscription. And they've been clear. That price goes up as the AI gets better.
They're betting the farm.
They are. They're betting that recurring revenue from software will replace the cash flow from selling metal.
It's a bold bet. But here's the thing that caught my eye in the reports about the sensors. For years, Musk has been adamant, LiDAR is a crutch.
Right. His philosophy was always, humans drive with eyes, so cars should drive with cameras.
But now, quietly, Tesla has reintroduced radar into the sensor suite.
It's a subtle but massive admission. They're converging just a little with Waymo's approach. Waymo uses LiDAR, which uses laser pulses to map the world plus cameras and radar.
So Tesla bringing radar back suggests that to get to true level 5 autonomy, where you can sleep in the back seat and trust the car with your life cameras alone, simply weren't enough.
I think so. It's interesting that as they pivot to being a robot company, they're having to adopt the hardware standards of the robotics industry.
Which is a perfect segue, because we have to talk about the physical robots.
We do, because while Tesla is planning, others are shipping.
You sent me a video from Limex Dynamics.
Yeah.
It looked like CGI. You have 18 humanoid robots performing this coordinated routine.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just dancing, right? Because we've seen robots dance before.
No, and that is the key difference. It's easy to program a dance if you hard code every single movement. What Limex demonstrated was their operating system called CoSA.
CoSA.
It's a unified system of perception, memory, and what they call emotional states. It allows these robots to function as a squad. They are aware of each other.
So it's not one pilot flying 18 drones.
The hive mind.
That is impressive and slightly terrifying.
Then look at the Figure 03 robot. It's running on a new system called Helix 2.
And what makes Helix different from, say, the code running on a standard industrial robot?
Well, traditionally, robots have layers of software. One layer processes the camera image. That is a cup. Another layer plans the path. Move arm here. A third layer tells the motors what to do. It's very segmented. Helix 2 is a neural system, an end-to-end AI model. It takes pixels in and sends motor commands out. One brain doing it all.
So it's learning to move the way a toddler learns.
Right.
By seeing and doing, not by following a script.
Exactly. And that makes the movement look incredibly organic. It blends walking and manipulation seamlessly because there are no layers to hand off between. It's just flow.
Speaking of organic, we have to talk about the wetware, because the biotech news this week is actually shocking. And I don't use that word lightly.
You're talking about the artificial lung case at Northwestern University.
Yes. A team kept a patient alive for 48 hours without lungs. Not with bad lungs, without lungs.
Just pause and think about the physiology of that. Your lungs are the gas exchange engine for your entire body. Without them, you last minutes, not days.
So how did they do it?
So the patient had severe sepsis, a massive infection that started in the lungs. The lungs were failing and effectively poisoning the body. So the surgeons made a really radical call: remove the source of the infection.
They took the lungs out entirely.
Leaving an empty chest cavity, yes. They hooked the patient up to a synthetic surrogate system. Think of it as a highly advanced ECMO machine, which oxygenates blood and scrubs carbon dioxide outside the body.
And this worked for 2 full days.
It worked. Because the infected organs were gone, the sepsis cleared up, the body recovered. Once the patient was stable, they performed a double lung transplant. The patient is now back to a normal, independent life.
That redefines the word fatal. It's like a pit stop for your vital organs.
It turns a terminal condition into a manageable, albeit extreme, procedure. And we're seeing similar editing of the human condition in genetics. Did you see the CRISPR news on cholesterol?
I did. This isn't a pill, right?
No. Statins, the pills millions of people take now, are a daily maintenance drug. This new treatment is a one-time gene edit.
One and done.
It uses CRISPR, think of it like molecular scissors, to manipulate a single gene in the liver that's responsible for boosting cholesterol levels. You get the treatment, it snips that gene, and your harmful cholesterol drops by half, permanently.
That's a huge threat to the pharmaceutical business model, isn't it? If you cure the patient, you lose the customer.
It is a massive disruption, but the discovery pace is being driven by AI. We have a new model called Alpha Genome.
Is this related to DeepMind?
It's in that vein of research. It predicts the effects of gene mutations. What happens if I switch this gene on or turn that one off? It lets scientists simulate millions of years of evolution in seconds.
But they still have to verify it in the lab.
Oh, absolutely. We're not trusting the AI blindly yet, but it speeds up the discovery phase by orders of magnitude.
It feels like we're decoding the source code of humanity at the exact same time we're rewriting the source code of software. Which brings us to the next thing. The way software is being built is changing right in front of us.
This is where that adolescence theme really hits home for the economy.
I have to share this story because it blew my mind. There is a solo developer who built a fully working web browser in 3 days.
The One Agent, One Browser project.
3 days. We are talking about a browser that renders HTML, CSS, SVGs. It was built in Rust, which is a notoriously difficult, complex language, using a single codex CLI agent.
And for anyone listening who might not code, a CLI agent is basically an AI that lives in your command line, that black screen with the text, and can execute code, run tests, and fix errors all on its own.
And the result was 20,000 lines of code with no external dependencies. Usually, building a browser engine is something Google or Mozilla does with hundreds of engineers over years.
And this was one person and an AI.
The implication is just massive. If one talented engineer with an agent can do the work of a whole team, what happens to the team?
That is the scary question. We're seeing this size disruption narrative everywhere, software as a service.
Right. There's an anecdote making the rounds about a developer who was paying $120 a year for a microsauce tool, a simple utility. He realized, wait, I have an LLM. He spent 20 minutes coding, built his own version, and canceled the subscription.
So the idea of wrapper businesses, companies that just put a nice interface on top of basic functions, are those dead?
That is the bear case. If I can build it myself in 20 minutes, I'm not paying you a monthly fee.
Yeah.
But there's a counter-argument. You've got the 37 Signals crew, the founders of Basecamp, arguing the opposite.
They're the craftsmanship guys?
They are. Their argument is that quality code still matters. They believe complexity is the enemy. If you just throw AI code at a problem, you get what we call technical debt.
They argue for keeping teams small, cutting scope ruthlessly, and maintaining a clean code base that a human can actually understand.
So it's a battle between move fast and let the AI write it versus craftsmanship counts.
But even the craftsmanship side is getting AI help. Look at the discovery in Claude Code.
The hidden feature.
Right. In version 2.11, users found a TeammateTool hidden behind a feature flag. It's capable of reviewing pull requests code updates from multiple perspectives. It investigates bugs. It's basically an automated senior engineer sitting on your shoulder.
That sounds useful, but I have to ask, does this mean the junior engineers are in trouble?
This connects to the K-shaped future concept we're seeing in the industry.
Break that down. What does a K-shaped future look like for a coder?
Imagine the letter K. The top arm goes up, the bottom arm goes down. The idea is that the gap between great engineers and average engineers is widening.
Yeah.
AI raises the floor. It helps everyone write basic code. But the ceiling is shooting up. The best engineers are using these tools to solve unsolved mathematical problems. They're doing things that were previously impossible.
So if you're just a code monkey writing boilerplate, you're on the downward slope.
You're squeezed. But if you're an architect, someone who understands systems and can manage these AI agents, you become exponentially more valuable.
It's a brave new world for developers.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, we have to hit the quick hits. There was a lot of consumer tech news that dropped while we were watching the robots dance.
Let's run through them.
First up, finally, Apple. AirTag 2 is here.
Finally. And the updates are actually practical. New chip. It's 50% louder, which is great because I can never hear the old one when it's buried in the couch cushions.
And the precision finding works 50% further away.
Simple, effective. But the bigger Apple news is the AI partnership. We heard rumors they were talking to everyone, but it looks like they made a choice.
They did. Apple has partnered with Google Gemini for the new Siri coming in late February.
This is significant because it means Apple passed on OpenAI and Anthropic.
Why?
Money and talent. Anthropic apparently wanted too much money per query. And OpenAI, they were actively poaching Apple engineers.
Oh, Apple doesn't like that.
Not at all. Google offered a reasonable financial structure, and frankly, Gemini has gotten really good really fast.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend, I guess. In other mobile news, Android had a bit of an oops moment.
A bug report inadvertently leaked the full Android desktop interface.
People have been asking for this for a decade.
It looks like they are finally serious. Taller status bar, proper windowing like a tablet or a PC. It signals that Google wants Android to be a desktop replacement, probably to compete with those cheap AI laptops we're going to see flooding the market.
And finally, a massive media shift. Netflix is buying Warner Bros., Discovery's studio and streaming business.
All cash, $27.75 a share.
That is wild. Netflix owning Harry Potter, owning Batman.
It's the ultimate consolidation of content. The streaming wars are effectively ending. The winners are buying the losers' libraries.
It is a lot to process. From Amazon funding its rivals to Musk merging his empire and robots literally walking out of their crates to dance.
It certainly puts a regular Tuesday in perspective.
I feel like I need one of those artificial lungs just to catch my breath after all this.
Just make sure you return it after 48 hours.
Right. But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with a thought. You mentioned the adolescence of technology at the top of the show.
I did. And this is the provocative thought I want everyone to sit with. We are seeing AI solve mathematical problems that humans couldn't. We're seeing software that can write itself browsers built in 3 days. We are approaching what you could call a civilizational challenge.
Which is?
If AI becomes better than us at essentially everything, math, coding, biology, logistics, we are handing over the keys to the kingdom. We're moving from the child phase of tech, where we control it, to the adult phase, where it might be more capable than we are. The question is, are we ready to be the parents of a super genius teenager?
That is both terrifying and exhilarating, something to mull over while you're stuck in traffic or while your robo-taxi drives you home. Thanks for tuning in today. See you next Tuesday.
Spoken Tech, for your ears.